Good evening. Frank Sorick, Independent Gazette. I've been investigating a few stories, and I don't know how many of you know that much about our publication, but it is a rather small monthly publication with an all-volunteer staff who have other responsibilities and employment outside of our duties at the Gazette. That being said, I, from time to time, have to deal with other reporters who also contact the city for information, and the city has a spokesperson, which you're supposed to go to with all requests, questions, concerns. A lot of times what I'm finding, and I've also read in other publications, that they get stonewalled by said spokesperson. And that infuriates me from the point of a taxpayer in the city, is if we have a position in the city for a spokesperson whose sole job is to speak on behalf of the administration because they're obviously incompetent, then that person should at least be competent enough to answer the questions of the reporter in a timely fashion so that they can get their work done. That being said, I asked for an employment verification on a person. When did they get hired? How long have they been with the city? I was referred to the right to know officer, which will take 35 days. I've since submitted a right to know for that information. That led me to investigate other things that weren't as pressing with the Gazette, but now have been moved to the top of the pile. And Greg, sorry, you were there. With your position now as next in line to the throne, or whatever it is, I understand you've recently received a pay increase, and that caused me to look at your salary as a whole from the time as far back as I can track was 2006, correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2006 you received a salary of $30,000. Read a Times Leader News article that the mayor increased that salary by $7,500, making it $37,500 at that time. Since then, in 2012, I found a Times Leader article that has you listed at $67,898 as Economic Development Officer for the city. In 2013, you received a promotion as Deputy City Administrator for a city of only 7 square miles. We need an assistant to the administrator. Now you are the city administrator, and I haven't been able to get a confirmation out of the city as to what your salary is, so I'm going to ask you directly. I heard it's in the mid-80s. Am I right? Can you tell me exactly what that might be? Because from where I stand, the course of my investigation of you was 8 years. You received a 180% pay increase for a city of only 41,000. Let me just tell you, in those 8 years, the city has seen declining unemployment of negative 11%. 11% unemployment rate when the state average is 6.3. We have an overall job loss of 0.5% in the city, and a population loss of 4.4%. At the same time, you're receiving a 180% pay increase. Home values at that time, now I'm a realtor in the city, this is completely wrong, but citydata.com is listing home values have fallen in that same course of the investigation by 1.7%. They are completely wrong on that one. We've fallen by far more than 1.7%. Crime in the city has also risen by over 50% increase in those same 8 years. You guys are doing one bang-up job, let me tell you. Other than pay increases, that's all we know how to do right in the city. I also looked at the average Pennsylvanian. The average Pennsylvanian, and by far the city of Wilkes-Barre is stagnant against Pennsylvania numbers. Pennsylvanians receive an average income raise of 2.8% statewide. If I threw them against your pay scale rate, the average Pennsylvanian saw a 22.4% pay increase over that same time. You received a 180% pay increase. That's a negative pay increase against the average Wilkes-Barrean of 157.6%, Greg. You out-earned the average city resident. I don't know how in the world you sleep at night. But what I'm asking for out of this council tonight is a motion to instruct our city spokesperson to respond to reporters within a period of time. We get 5 minutes here, I'm down to 37 seconds. This will be the first time in the history that I have used all 5 minutes. So forgive me if I go over just a little bit. Bill, I told you I had nothing to say. At that time I didn't. When Liza stonewalled me, man, did I get something to say then. But at any rate, what I'm asking for is a motion instructing the city spokesperson to respond to all reporters, regardless of the publication, regardless of her personal feelings of that publication, respond to the reporter within a certain amount of time, and do not refer them to another department. Her job is to find out the answer and get back to that reporter. Don't send them to Right to Know. That will take 35 days, because since the Gazette's inception, we have never once gotten a Right to Know. Not one. I've checked with all of our reporters. We haven't gotten a Right to Know in the 5 days allotted by state law. Every Right to Know the Gazette has ever submitted since the day it began publication 3 years ago, we've all received a 30-day delay. So that's 35 days from the time we put it in, almost 36 if you don't count, as Mr. Ryan once told me, we don't count the day of submission. So 36 days from the date we put it in to the date we get the answers. Unacceptable, even for a monthly publication. Thank you.
If you wish, you can reply to that. Okay? And we can just pass this along to the city spokesperson as well.
Do we need to make a motion to have her?
I don't think we need to make a motion ever to it.
Yes, I said administrative.
You're just going to ask that the convey concerns along to her. Thank you.
Do you want to answer my question, Greg? How much do you pay annually? He doesn't have to? Right to Know is pending, so I guess in 35 days I'll have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.